Well, hello, wealthy women. I am so excited to be here today. I have a guest on today. She is a super duper expert in her field, and she's going to be able to help you and your business in ways that you may not have even considered. Some of you are already familiar with what her program will be about, but others, it might be brand new for you to hear about it. So there's a little mystery in what I'm sharing with you because I want her to tell you all of the great details about her program and her systems and strategies and how they can really help your business. So pay attention really well because she's got a magnificent business that she has. And then, as you know, we'll get into the success questions and feel inspired when we go ahead and get to that part. So rather than me keep talking, I'm going to pass it over to you, Pamela, and let us know who you are, what you do, how you can help, and where people can find you.
Fantastic. I it's such an honor to be on the show. My name is Pamela Dale, and they call me your DHL gal, and I'll tell you a little bit about what that means. But I really wake up every single morning with the mission of great things happen when women have money. And coaches and consultants are people that I really love to focus on because coaches and consultants are not like doctors and chiropractors and dentists, where clients just show up and there's a line out the door. And yes, dentists and chiropractors make a huge difference in people's lives, but coaches and consultants change people's lives. And I'm passionate about the generational effect that happens when coaches get with clients and change their lives, and then it changes the family's life. And if it's a business coach, it changes the business clients' lives, and it's got this cascading effect. And there's nothing more powerful for women financially than to have a business. Not only financially, but it helps us really step into who it is that we're here to be by having to overcome our biggest obstacle when building a business, and that's ourselves. And when we set these really big goals and we decide we're going to be a coach and a consultant and off we go, whoa, who said it was going to be that hard? Right? It is challenging. And it's even more challenging since the pandemic because a lot of people came online, and thank God, right? What a great way for that to happen. But it's so hard to stand out. So as a result, what I'm finding is coaches are struggling today. They will tell you they're not because they're probably telling you the numbers from 2020, 21, 22. But today they're struggling with what's the next offer? How do I keep the same revenue coming in that was coming in 2 years ago? And as a result of that, we're seeing cycles of burnout. We're seeing the competition there. So profits are down and coaches are struggling. So one thing that's really powerful for coaches and consultants to consider, not only revenue wise, but for their branding, is to start a small arm of their business, and that is software. So we need what's called that continuity line or the value ladder. We've just seen it if we've been in the ClickFunnels world, where that little line on the right-hand side of the value ladder that says monthly recurring revenue. And I think all of us fell off our chair that day. I know I've been on the hunt for it ever since, right? Like,
Mhm.
what do you mean? So a lot of people will start monthly memberships thinking that's the answer, and they are not working. They are really challenging if you don't have the budget of Netflix, right? Like, to keep them going and get that season 2 coming, and you've got to be really good at that. So software is something that I stumbled into, which I think is such a powerful way to build a business. You find you get on this road and you go out and you be of service and you start assisting people with, what are they asking me to do? And I was really good in the funnel world and got a hold of some software, and oh my God, people started saying to me, you can white label this. And I go, well, what is white labeling? Like, Google, help me. And I understood that I had many white labeled products in my home. So, and my car, and, things are made by one company and put a different logo on the front of it. And I learned that you could do that with software. And some of this software I was actually using. And I thought, well, this is an interesting concept. And somebody came to me who was a friend of mine and said, you're a little bit techie. Do you think you can do this? And I was like, yes, because I'm always, yes, I'm figure it out, right? I can figure things out. And I did figure it out. And then she referred the next person and the next person and the next person. And I honestly didn't realize what I was building or what was actually happening until I started to see the monthly recurring revenue numbers. I started to see these coaches and consultants selling the software to their own people instead of referring them to other software if they had an affiliate offer, right? It could be another revenue stream. But what I've seen with other affiliate offers is the affiliate offer disappears or it changes or it's no longer valuable. Like their ClickFunnels 1.0 to ClickFunnels 2.0, your affiliate doesn't move with it. Like some stuff goes on in the affiliate world, right?
Ah,
So you can lose that revenue stream really quickly. And
oh, I
it's
didn't know
devastating.
that.
And two companies have been in the last year unable to pay their affiliates. So it's not looking good, and it's profitability. It's all of these things that happen in our business as well, right? So knowing that I can refer people to my own software became very, very powerful idea. And at $147 a month, $297 a month, all of a sudden you have 100 people. Well, there's where my revenue problem starts to get fixed. Because that is people in my circle. I don't know about you, I have monthly recurring charges for software, 10, 15, 20 pieces that run my business. And
Yeah,
it's a non-negotiable. They're there every month and I'm like happy to pay them.
yeah,
So what
exactly.
if we had that for ourselves? So I started to see the impact of these businesses building 6 and 7 figure software businesses by referring it to their own people. And I was like, this is a game changer. What if you don't have 6 or 7 figures? What if you had 5? What if you started with 5 and moved to 6 and moved to 7 because it can continue to grow? And that's what started happening. And that's what I decided was my next mission was to save coaches from going out of business by helping them create an additional revenue stream with software. So the first thing comes up is I'm not techie. I don't know how to support my users. And I know, I know that I'm talking to women. And we have done some things we didn't know how to do, we don't want to do. We learned, we figured it out because somebody was hungry, somebody was sick, somebody needed shoes. We've been able to figure things out. And if we have our mission big enough out front for what it is that our coaching and consulting business is doing, the software is a no-brainer. And then just like any marketing, we need to figure out then, USP of it and the pricing and the offer and how to sell it and how to service it. And it's part of business. But what an option. Even if you didn't know it was there and you now do, okay, excellent. For you or not at this time, that's great. Let's another time, maybe. But if you don't know it's an option, and a lot of us don't know it's an option. So we're looking for that next offer. We've got this feast and famine thing going, and we got that burnout cycle that's real. We've got the market share that's shrinking. We don't know how to stand out on social media. So it solves a lot of those problems for us because money will solve most of our problems
That's
in
the
life
truth.
and in business, right? So the GHL stands for Go High Level or High Level. And I branded myself as the GHL gal after a tremendous amount of research. So I wasn't going to put myself, my family, and my life and my future on another piece of software that wasn't going to do what it said it was going to do when it said it was going to do it, how it said it was going to do it, right? I've been tired of that. And I flew to Dallas 3 times and met with the owners and I sat with them all. They know me. If you called them, they'd go, oh yeah, we know her. I spoke on the stage quickly the first year of the summit. Last year, they invited me back to speak on an affiliate panel. And next year, I will be there as well in some capacity speaking because I am 100% committed to what it is that they are doing, what they stand for, and the businesses that they want to save. And by a coach and consultant getting a hold of this, we're helping our users save their business by getting them on software that's not 10 pieces of stuff that's duct taped together, then running on emotions and making decisions that we have no data to make. And then also we don't have systems to automate. We don't have the pieces that we need to make this thing work. So go high level on a user level and as a SaaS or as a coach level, reselling it, it makes sense for everyone. And it's inexpensive compared to any other piece of software you're going to purchase for your business. You can get started for as little as $97 a month, unlimited, where you just pay for your own email.
And
So
for people that don't really or have never heard of Go High Level or High Level, can you explain what the software is, what it can do for their business, so that they get a better familiar, familiarity about it all?
sure. So it's like Dubsado and Calendly and Community and Kajabi and ClickFunnels and Active Campaign and First Promoter and just about any other piece of software you can imagine got together and got married.
I love it.
So it's an all-in-one marketing tool platform that allows you to have unlimited everything, funnels and users and websites and chat widget and memberships and communities and email marketing. You just pay for your own email, which is approximately $10 you'll be able to send about 7,000 emails. So you
Oh,
don't
that's
pay for a
fantastic.
contact. You don't pay, you've got 4,000, 10,000 contacts. All of a sudden you're paying $200 a month, but you just pay for the email that you send, which if you're sending email, you're making money. So
That's right.
no
That's right.
brainer.
Wow, I love this. And when somebody decides that they definitely want to get on board and join Go High Level, how will you work with them? What does that look like for them?
So I'm the expert for coaches and consultants for Go High Level. So Go High Level can be very complex on the back end if you don't set it up right. There are legal compliance issues. There are security issues. And coaches and consultants use the whole platform. Right, we use the email part and we're going to send a text and we're going to build a membership area. And we're going to have our people on for our community and we're going to send an invoice. And we need to be sure that we have it set up so that it's compliant. And I'm the only one that works with coaches and consultants. And I've created something called the SaaS Suite, which includes my newly revamped SaaS Code 2.0 that walks through what I've learned in the last year and a half building 6 and 7 figure SaaS businesses. I had the basics and the fundamentals down, but this new 2.0 covers the legal stuff we've seen, covers the staffing things we've done. How do you hire? How do you put it together? And then how do you really support it? We walked through and built support systems. And now I know how to do that for you. And I've rebuilt that course. And it has it all in either a ClickUp board, a Notion, an Asana, or a Trello board that you can drop in for you and your team with full checklists and
I
all
love
the
it.
trainings you need. Nobody's done it to the degree that I have, and you won't miss anything. You will have me as your partner and my team, and we do live calls. You can talk to me, and we just make sure 100% that you are ready to go. So there's nobody else like it out there.
I love that. And I love what you said because, we all have SaaS products, right? Software
Yeah.
as a service. And we don't realize how much we do have that. I actually just got billed for my Dropbox. I just got billed, of course, my monthly calendar and all of the things. And when you think about, wow, let me create something that becomes an option for others to get involved in and pay me monthly, and it just changes the game. And software, as we know, once we get used to it, we stick around. Most people will stay with the same product as when it works for them, but the disjointing that has happened from what you were saying, you have to have this product and that product, and they're all separate companies with all separate logins and this, that, and the other thing. And
Yes.
you are like duct taping it together, and it's overwhelming, and so to have everything in one place, it is just it's a gift because then it simplifies, but with such a serious strategy in place. So I guess I had another question for you too. For some of for whomever might be interested in coming over and getting on board with high level, if how does it work if they need to transfer from where they are,
Yeah.
systems that they already have in place? Is it a smooth transition for them so that they can keep their business running smoothly as they're making that transition?
That's such a brilliant question. And I've created another course called Migration Mastery because all of the users, we need to bring over something from somewhere. Most of the time, it's like moving house. You're going to clean the closets and you're going to get in the attic and you're going to get in the basement and guard the garage, right? And it's the same with your funnels and your email lists and your tags and all of those things as well. You've got stuff you're not using and it's time for a cleanup. So that's the beautiful piece of it. And you will need to run both systems side by side, tandem for a while, depending how big your business is. And there is a strategic plan on how to get it from one to the other. And in the migration mastery course, I walk you through step by step how to do that so that you don't lose data and you don't lose momentum. You will have some downtime, but we'll minimize that. And we'll make sure that your users are seamlessly moved over as well. And I show you how to do that step by step.
I love that. And when you think about all of the money that people can save because they are paying for all of these individual products, and that adds up. We don't think, oh, $27 a month for this service or 99 a year for that service. When you add it all up, it's a lot. And then when you're saying you can get started for the 97 a month and have everything in one place, I mean, that is definitely motivating. So I love that you are an expert on all of this. This is so helpful for people that don't know the system, the software, and how to make the most out of it. So what is the website that you can have people go to learn more about your programs?
So there's a couple of different places. There are a couple of different places to find me. The SaaSsuite.com will have everything, and you sign up and you'll go get in a Go High Level account and you'll get everything dropped in. The SaaS code, there are two programs depending on when you're listening to this. If the new one's dropped or 3.0 is dropped, you'll get that as well. And then yourghlgal.com will take you to my website where you can learn more about me in general. And I've got a lot of blogs there, things like that. And if you search your GHL Gal on social, you'll find me as well.
I love that. That's fantastic. Well, this was such a helpful awareness of what can be done to really help someone create a business that is sustainable, scaling, um, systemized, strategized, and all of the things so that people can get on doing what they do best. And so supportive the system is, and I love that that you are there to help guide everybody through it all. So that's excellent. So the next part I'm so excited to ask you is all of the success questions and
Wow.
how you started your journey and how you came to where you are today, because it's such an inspiration to be able to listen to someone's business success story, and it lets others know that there are stages and it's okay and all of the things. So let me just go ahead and put on my glasses and then we will get started on our interview questions. So let's see. Okay, so I love this question because a lot of women are wondering, should I start a business, or they already have and they question if they should continue it. So for you, what is the number one most empowering reason for starting and continuing your business? And why would you recommend that to other women to consider getting their own businesses started or continuing on the path of building their business?
We as women have so much to offer and so much that we want to do with our lives. So the first reason may or may not be financial, depending on your values. For me, it started out financial because I didn't want to continue a job. And I knew that at my age, I'd not saved enough and I was financially in trouble for retirement. That's usually enough, and sometimes not, right? The other thing that I think is really important to understand is that the goals that I set for myself, I've not achieved those. So I'm not the person that I need to be to get there. So the most compelling reason to start a business, I think, is to fulfill on who we really are, because we need to really step into that woman. It's like blowing up a balloon the first time. And then the second time you can blow it up to the same level you blew it up this last time. So I made $70,000 last year. This year I can make $70,000 with no effort. just like the
Yes.
balloon, right? But to get to the next level, I'm really going to have to conquer the number one issue in my business, and that's me and the way I think.
I love that. And I love what you just said about, excuse me, once you break one hurdle, you feel so confident to do it again, easy this time.
Yeah.
And it's Roger Bannister. I remember this from so many years ago. It was one of the races for the Olympics, I think, and nobody could make a 4 minute mile, I think it was,
Yeah.
and everyone just assumed it couldn't be done. And then Roger Bannister broke it, and
Yeah.
now after that happened, all of a sudden everybody could break the 4 minute mile, and it was like this mindset shift that it is now possible because somebody did it. And when you do it yourself, like, okay, I've done this. I've had, a 10K month. I can do another 10K month. And it changes you. And it's so important, to know that and to look back and think about what you've already accomplished when you're setting up your new goal that you have yet to accomplish. Those old goals were once scary, and could I do it? Will I ever be able to achieve it? And then you do it. And so you know that you can. So I love that you said that. That's a great answer, especially, if you've done it once, you can do it again. And if you haven't done it yet, just you'll figure it out. Once you do it, you can continue to do it and just keep expanding your business and building your own identity. And like what you said too, building your business, the biggest thing to get out of your own way is yourself, right? And it's the best way to learn what you're made of and to challenge yourself and to be proud of yourself. It's one of the greatest educations you could ever have is creating your own business.
Yeah, I
So
want to blow my own mind. Like
yeah,
I want to, like, I remember the first time I put $20,000 worth of checks in the bank, it blew my mind. I couldn't even, it was beside myself. I still sometimes have trouble putting the words to it. And I want to do that again.
yeah,
Like it's just such an exhilarating feeling, but then there's also the competing uh, other feelings, safety, security, vulnerability. Oh, I'm going to be
yeah,
tired. All of those things. What are people going to think? Oh, I don't need that much money. Like all that competing stuff is there as
yeah,
well, because there's a reason I don't have the thing I say I want. And if I don't examine why I don't have it, right? Instead of it's just, oh, I didn't set a big enough goal. Oh, no, sister, no, it's bigger than that.
yes,
Nobody's
yes.
really talking about that, right? Like there's a reason. What are the competing desires to that?
I love this. And actually, I'm going to hold on my questions because this is a beautiful thing that you just brought up. Let's talk about this. So, in a short term, we can call it self-sabotage, right? Like we set these goals, we know that we want them, we know that we are worth them, but then we get in our own way. And it happens across the board, whether it's money or, whether we're trying to get in shape and then we eat a bag of potato chips or, you know, maybe someone's dating and they keep dating the wrong person over and over again. What's your thoughts? Why do we do this? And how do you think we can get out of our own ways? Because this is a lot about the mindset, which is my just joyful work to do. So,
Hmm.
with your own self, how did you come to terms to ask yourself the right questions instead of like you just said, oh, I didn't have enough willpower. I didn't set my goal big enough. We fall back on these very basic things that mean nothing. How did you go a little bit deeper to figure out what the problem was when you were standing in your own way?
So I've had a dream my whole life, and sometimes I tell myself the truth about it, and sometimes I don't. And when I do, it's a $10 million house on the beach in Mexico, and all of these things, and started doing the work to get there by setting an absolutely outrageous goal of $10 million in 5 years. So I started out with, I made $159,000 last year, not even trying, setting myself up, redoing some things, getting a lot of things in line that I needed to do, and started taking clients because I was afraid. So it delayed what it is I wanted to do. So I hired a coach and I said, okay, 300,000. And she's like, well, why don't you just like 10x it? And I'm like, well, and there's that book,
Yes,
10x
I was
is
just about
easier
to
than
say.
2x, right? And it is because the thought of 2xing made me nauseous. And then 10xing it, I started to get excited and I started to really dig into this. And I thought, okay, well, then that means that this year it's a million. And the excitement was really incredible and we see it in people all the time. We get really excited about the goal. And it happens to us when we're really new in business or in setting goals is we get that excitement, but we don't understand the cost that's going to come as a result of it, the goal cost. I'm
Hmm.
going to have to, when the procrastination comes up, the self-sabotage, all of those things, those are simply my thought process. So when we say, oh yeah, I believe I'm worthy. Oh, no, we don't. No, we aren't. There's another thought underneath it that's just bullshit, right? Like we have to start to tell ourselves the truth. So we've got to start examining our thoughts. And that's what I started to do. I knew that this was my problem because I could see my actions on a daily basis. You must be able to see your actions that you didn't do this thing you said you were going to do, or Friday, every single Friday, like I used to feel, was I didn't get anything accomplished in my business. And I'd look back and I would think, what the hell? And it would be a psychological warfare in my brain. And then it would just buffer for the whole weekend and watch Netflix. And then maybe Monday get up and try again. And it was exhausting. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. There's people who are successful. They're not as smart as me. There's got to be a reason. So I started to dig into this thinking thing and started to realize the sneakiness of my thoughts. The other thing that I started to understand was that it's not confidence that I need, it's courage. And I've always been incredibly courageous, but no one tells us that courage doesn't feel good. It doesn't at the moment. We see it in the movies and it's Wonder Woman all dressed amazing and off she goes. And nobody shows her shitting herself before she starts, right? Like nobody shows that. And that's what it feels like. So, okay, why would I want to feel that way when I go towards this $1 million goal? Why would I want to feel this way? Why would I put myself through this when we know our brain is all about reserving energy, right? It doesn't want to, it seeks desire. It doesn't want to expel any more energy than it has to. It's lazy. It's trying to keep me safe. I know that, right? So to overcome my evolution of that, my whole self, I've got to have a compelling reason. I've got to have a desire and a compelling reason so strong out front that it will push me past so that I know I'm going to have to say no to myself.
Your why has to be bigger than your what.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, on a level of, oh my God, my child needs to eat level. But we don't have that level of commitment for our own business. I was doing work on this morning. I think she's a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 ain't going to cut it.
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
go back and really get to what will happen if I don't do this.
Mm.
I'm 57, I'm going to spend the rest of my life like this and not fulfill on the things I want for myself. I want to be an example of what's possible. I've got all of this lined up in my head. I want to experience what money is like for me in my life.
Yes.
I do not want to get to the end of my life and go, I coulda, but you were too
Yeah.
scaredy cat, because
Yeah.
that's the ultimate personal responsibility. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. It buck stops here. So it's compelling reason. Then it's telling my truth about what I'm going to have to really do to get there. And it's going to be, I've got to deal with these thoughts. Number one thought of how do I go about making $1 million? Do you know what it is? I don't know how.
Mm.
Confusion sets in immediately. Well, let's understand that that's the truth. I don't know how, because I'm going to my past to help me understand how to make $1 million. I've not made $1 million. I don't have the answer. So what
Makes
do I
sense.
do?
Yeah.
What do I do? Well, it's not what they're telling us to do out there, and that is go and fail. Failing means I get an F in school. We're pulling all this stuff in. But what I'm doing by not moving forward is failing right at the start. I'm already failing. I'm just
Yeah.
failing in private.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody knows I set that goal, so it's
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
we really have to start to give this some real thought, but it comes from the compelling reason because I need to become resilient against everything that's going to come at me in my thinking.
Yeah.
Not what's coming at me in the world, what's coming at me in my thinking. One of the sneaky thoughts about money that I got the other day was, we're not extravagant people.
All of it comes up.
How the hell is that going to help me when my other competing desire is a $10 million house by the beach? Like,
Yeah. It. It. There's a disconnect.
Let's go to bed. We might as
Yeah.
well have sleep. Like, what am I doing
Yeah.
over here?
Yeah.
What am I doing to myself? I tell myself the truth. So it's these money beliefs that are so sneaky that if we're so busy, and I'm watching myself these last little while, I was like, I'm so busy. I'm writing stuff out this morning. How am I going to get there? I got to slow down. I need to build capacity. That's my word for 2024. I need to
Love
build
it.
capacity. Just like the lungs to blow that balloon up, I've got to build the capacity in my thinking and in my heart and in my soul of the $1,000,000. I've got to get there. And honestly, I've probably busted out crying 2.5 times already, and it's only the 16th.
Ah,
It is a real look at my own damn self and watching my patterns, angry at my husband, over here, overeating. It's in my face.
yeah.
But I didn't need to do this to myself. I could have stayed at $159,000 and just la-lawed my way through that. I want this. So I also want the growth that must come because of it. And this is what we won't talk about. So people said, I was on a call the other day with a lady wanting to do this big seminar up in Vancouver where I'm from. And she's like, I'm like, started talking about mindset. She's, yeah, no, my people are tired of mindset. I said, are they? Are they now? I said, ask them what they said they were going to do last week and then ask them why they didn't do it. And if they say anything other than their thoughts, they're lying. So this is the piece. And if you go on any YouTube channel of somebody that's got a decent amount of followers and making money and it gets views on there, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yes.
They're talking about a few tactics, but it's mindset. Because if I can sit with the fact that if I did know, what would I do? If I came to myself for my own answers, if I said to the $1,000,000 woman, because she already knows, and we're the same
Yeah.
person. If I go to her or the $10,000,000 woman, because I'll forget that, I'll sit over here in confusion. So I forget really quickly, right? But if I ask her what she would do, I don't need tactics. I don't need tactics from anyone.
Right.
I simply can depend on myself, and that we don't want the responsibility of.
That's it. You just nailed it. It's the responsibility. It all sounds all fabulous. The big dreams, the goals, even the initial belief and excitement that we can make it happen. But when it comes down to it, when the excitement has worn off, when no one's watching, when you're tired and exhausted, it comes down to do I really want to have to be that responsible to make that goal happen? And you think that you can get away. It's just one day I'm a little off, or it's just one week I'm a little off. I'll get back to it. And what happens is life goes on and years go by, and you look back and it didn't happen because we didn't hold ourselves responsible to the consistency that has to happen to that goal. So it's not an easy climb, but
No,
your why, like you're saying, that reason has to be so full for you, like you said, that it's like oxygen for you or someone you love, that it has to be that important. And that is, in fair honesty, that's why the majority of people never really reach the pinnacle, is
no.
because it takes a lot more effort and responsibility than anyone bargained for, that.
Most of us aren't committed to anything. Like, I'll
Yeah.
use diet for me and weight loss.
Yeah.
Okay, I can lose weight, but I can't keep it off.
Mm,
Because I don't want to tell myself, no, I want to indulge.
yes.
I want
Yeah.
all of these things like I'm 3. That part of my brain kicks in. And I've
Yes.
got to use the other part of my brain. And
Yeah.
that's why I plan my week for my goals on a Sunday.
Mhm.
And then I stick to it because this part of my brain will kick in Tuesday about 2 o'clock and go,
Yeah.
You need a rest. And I'll go, we don't have time for a rest because we're going to save women's businesses.
Yeah.
We have a
Mhm.
reason. We're going to save ourselves,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And I think I know, like, one of the things that come up, for example, the dieting is a perfect example. Or let's just say eating healthier and scrap that word dieting. But I think what happens is we start out with the best of intentions and we can see the end result and it's exciting, but then somewhere along that line, it feels like someone's taking away our freedom of choice because we're not allowed to have that chocolate bar or something like
I
that.
know, but we made
And
the goal ourselves.
yes, exactly. But we're so determined to have our freedom and our choice, and that matters. And this, for me, that actually is my biggest trigger. Is this taking away my freedom when I'm not in the mood to do it? Something of this nature. And then you really have to figure out how you actually will get more freedom if you stick with it. Like freedom in health, like if it's a body goal, freedom in your money because you worked a little extra hard, but now you have the resources. So that's a freedom that you wouldn't know if you didn't do the work. So we have to kind of restructure our thinking about what it's taking from us instead of what it's actually going to be giving to us.
We need
And
to
this is
stop
all mindset.
we need to stop throwing the hissy fits
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
ourselves.
The
Oh,
little tantrums.
I can't have the chocolate.
Yeah.
What? But we made the goal. We say what we want. We say we're going to do this, and then we start having our own hissy fit on ourselves. We don't have the goal.
Yeah.
Game win.
Yes. Yes.
And it's
And we just,
you can see that it's not this brain thinking.
that's right.
No,
That's
this
right.
one says you want the goal, but this one's going to do this. Which one are you going to listen to? Either
Yeah.
of,
Exactly.
but
Exactly. Or, sometimes it's nice, I think, when people set goals, have a little buffer hour or buffer day where you get a little bit of that thing that gives you that sense of, freedom or whatever it is, that it
you get to
little bit
do
of
whatever
padding.
you get to do
Yeah.
whatever you want. One of
Yes.
the things that I was going down the road earlier when I was talking about capacity, to build capacity, I need breaks. And that's counterintuitive, right? So to build capacity, you need breaks. And I'm not doing really well at that at the moment, hustling to get some things done, but there's goal costs. There's like lots of pieces to it. And finding that for me, I'm right in the middle of it. So we're going to figure this out, right? And I know that in any goal that we set, we are not loving and kind. And there's like this all or nothing. And there's this idea of failure. Like this all is a part of this.
Yeah.
So that really strict thing with work, all work, no play, and then diet without, but you get to you could be whatever way you decide you want to be. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing that we're still thinking that we've got this outside teacher
Yeah.
coming at us when we don't. There's
Mhm.
nobody there.
Yeah. No one's scolding us.
Nobody there but
Yeah.
ourselves. So we've picked it up. And that's just the reconditioning around
Yeah.
what I was saying earlier, the what do we think about things? What do we think about life? What do we think about? Like it's always, what do I think about myself? What do I think about money? What do I think about the world? And those will be everything. And you'll notice I didn't say what others think,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Because
Give yourself that power.
it doesn't really matter. That's all. I take something someone said and turn it into a really great thought. Oh, she's a bitch or whatever. And then I take actions based on that. I might hide a little bit. I might lash out. I might, whatever, have an attitude. And then there are results from that. But I had that thought and I could easily have thought something else or not thought anything about it and moved on with my own goals.
Wow, that's really powerful what you just said because really we can apply that to
Everywhere.
everything, everything, the way we move through the world, the way we interact, communicate. And we're just not calling ourselves out. We're like a little bit sleeping through it instead of being attentive to our thinking and our thoughts and how we are. We need to be more strategic in our mindset and our thought patterns so that we can get the results that we want and enjoy the life that we want instead of just being at the whim of emotions that,
Just back and forth.
yeah, just, yeah,
Mind
exactly. I love
readers.
this. I
Yeah,
love
mind
this
readers.
conversation because
This is
we're going
great.
in a different direction, but I'm all about mindset. Mindset is everything. And I also think, we have to set ourselves up for success. So like one of the my favorite questions is about empowering, routines, morning routines. I call them wealthy woman habits. So
Right.
What do you do every morning that you just have to get it done for you to feel like you are ready to take on the world and have a great day? Do you have a morning routine, or it could be an evening routine?
I do a thought download.
Hmm.
And then, so all the thoughts, so that takes time sometimes, like this one, I'm like, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? I know I'm thinking more than, because we have so many thoughts, right? So I do a thought download, and then I take one of the thoughts that's got some emotion behind it that's bothering me, and I run it through the model. And the model is, this is the thought. How does that thought make me feel? When I think this thought, how do I feel? And then what actions do I take, or did I take as a result of that? And then what were my results?
Wow, that's fantastic.
So you can see the self-fulfilling prophecy happen very quickly, and all of a sudden, holy shit, I'm not at the whip of a world, right? I'm at the helm here. So then I take and I turn it and flip it. So the result I want, $1 million a year, what do I need to think to get there? And if I'm thinking those thoughts, how do I act? And then
Hmm.
if I act that way, what are my results? I get the million. So I start to see every day, and it helps me get back to my level of commitment that I need to keep moving forward. Because what you said earlier was, we'll quit on ourselves. I've done it for 5 years, 5 months, 5 days, 5 minutes, 5 seconds. And what I learned from professional people, successful people, is that they do that too, but they get back. I call it the beam on your business. They get back on their beam in their business faster. And the beam is your thoughts, getting things back where they belong. The faster we do that, the more successful we'll be, because as you mentioned, all we have is time. Businesses are usually January to December. This is it. Every week, there's only 52 of them. If I'm off the rocker for a whole week, what? I I can't even voice it. It's so devastating, right?
Yeah.
Just because of a thought I chose to pick up.
Oh,
You know,
I
this
love
isn't going to work.
it. Mhm.
Well, let's do it. If this isn't going to work, that's the thought. Okay, how do I feel? I'm just defeated. What's the use? Sometimes it's devastated because it's my dream. It's not going
Yeah.
to work. So what actions do I take? I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to scroll on Facebook. And what are my results? This isn't
Or the
working.
same.
This isn't working. This isn't going to work. Those are my results. It's not working. But it's because of the thought I had. Now, if I did the same thing, I'm going to make $10,000 this day today. Well, how would I feel? I would feel empowered. I'd feel excited. I'd feel all of these feelings. And when I show up online and I'm putting out social media, or I'm talking to you and all of these things, and I have these feelings, isn't it a very different energy? Isn't this when those coincidences pop in your life? I've seen it
Hmm.
all the time. At the beginning of the year, when I was the most excited about this, I had powerful things happen. And then I hit one of my holy crap, what did I just do? Kind of moments, right? Like, who do you think you are trying to make 1 million a year, you silly little farm girl, right? Like all of it just like wolf. And I don't know the thoughts. If I don't make a big goal, we can stay unconscious to them.
Yeah.
Most of us are unconscious to them. That's why we keep getting in a relationship with the same person. We're unconscious to it. You watch your friend do it. You're not unconscious to it. You can see her stories, but she can't until one day she'll see it. And
Yeah.
that'll be a great day for us all. And it's the same in business. It's the same in everything. Somebody's weight, you can see they finally got it based on what they wanted, not
Yeah.
that they should be thin, or we don't should anybody around here, right? But then if I've got those thoughts and those feelings, I take different actions and sure shit, what are the results? So I do that on a daily basis.
I love that. That is beautiful. And you know what I would like to say is, when we first start, let's just say self-sabotage, and then we get down on ourselves, it's so easy to think that we should still keep getting down on ourselves. And like you said, eat the bag of chips, watch TV all day, just, simmer in all of it instead of
Yeah,
making
I'm
the,
really good
the,
at that.
yes, really make it worse. Let it all go, blow it up. But the thing is, one little tiny action in a positive way, it could be 10-minute exercise walk, and it'll make you feel
You've
empowered again.
got
And then you go back to your business and
you've
do
got
what
to
you got to
grab a
do.
hold, you've got to grab a hold of that thought first. So you've got to really
Yes.
understand what you're thinking. And for
Exactly.
me, I have a default thought process that this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So what is yours? When I say yours, I mean the listeners. What is your
Yeah.
default thought? And if you don't get a hold of that, you're going to be doing nothing but might, like
Yeah.
grit yourself to get yourself up to do the 10-minute walk. And this is the recipe for burnout.
Yes.
We don't realize
Absolutely.
that we can work, and we see people work 60, 80, 90 hours and we can never hit burnout because they're not in that psychological turmoil of the thought, action, feeling crap that goes on for us. If we can wrangle that and understand the thought that made me do that, and then tell myself the truth about the thought.
Wow, this is so powerful. And you know what? You can see that once you get a handle on your own personal patterns, like what is the thought? What is the action I take when I'm not succeeding? What is the action I take when I am succeeding? And it becomes so, you can see that it becomes such a systematic thing that you don't have to put that burnout thinking, climb the mountain and
Mm,
struggle. You just get it. Oh, here I go again with that thought. Okay,
that
I know
was
if I do this, it's going to end up like that, but I'm going to do the better thing and go this way and just get back up and keep going forward. So this is just fantastic. Really, we need to pay a lot more attention to our thinking and not gloss over them with actions, action, without thinking why are we doing those actions in the first place,
And
right?
the
This is,
key to it is the feelings.
yes.
I don't like to feel. I by default, thought process around feelings is I'm going to bust apart and never be okay. If I
Mm,
feel this is going to overwhelm me forever,
mm-hmm.
and that's not true. So I am challenged by the feelings that come up, that devastated feeling, that anger, that disappointment, all of those feelings, that the
Yes.
fear that comes up, those are so hard to deal with. So we buffer. And buffering is whatever it is we do so we don't have to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I love solitaire these days. That's my like default, right? It's like, well, just let me just like zone right out. And I'm like, okay, what is it that I need to feel here? What's going on? And it's challenging. And I'm in my room by myself and I'm slowly trying to like let it up. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna be okay. Right? Like it's just that's the key, but we're not a feeling society. We're a thinking society and we got our thoughts off.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that we spent a good amount of time on this because this is really foundational. This is the foundation of everything,
Yeah,
everything.
everything.
And I wanted to really, I love that we got into this so much because this is where all things will stem from, your success or your failures. And you just have to really, and the great thing is ultimately we are basically saying are in control. We can control our thoughts, our minds, our actions, and we can create the life we want if we're paying attention and feeling our feelings and thinking our thoughts and aligning our behaviors to match what is our truest desire. And yeah, it's a big thing, but there are patterns, right? There are patterns for everybody. And so we
Everybody.
can learn our own patterns. And once we learn them, because we put the investment into thinking about ourselves and how we, go out in the world in any category.
Yeah.
Well, then you get to know yourself. You get to really know yourself. It's funny,
I,
sometimes we walk through this world and we don't really even know who we are. We know more about our husbands or our friends or our moms or our sisters, but
or the latest character in this show that you're watching. Like, let's tell the
yes,
truth.
yes, let's give ourselves some love and get to know ourselves and set ourselves up for that life that we really desire. And that comes from spending time in thought, really, and then figuring it out. So I love that we just got into this. I have
Perfect.
questions here that just I thought, nope, this is more important. This is more important. So thank you. You are just,
You're welcome.
I can see you leading people to their, dream lives by
Mhm.
getting to them and talking them through why they're standing in their own way. So this was fabulous, Pamela. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was going to say one of the questions is, do you agree that mindset is more important than systems and strategies? Well, I think we just kind of that's a big yes.
Well, here's the
um,
biggest thing about that is that when we don't understand ourselves enough to know that we have our own answers, we're going to abdicate that responsibility to the latest guru. And let's see how that has worked for those listening. Maybe it's the same as me, that I have $200,000 worth of courses that I bought and I was still broke.
Mm-hmm.
So by
Mm-hmm.
me going and getting the tactics first, it didn't work.
Yeah.
I needed to have this first, and then what do I need? Who am I? How do I want to work my business? What are my desires? What are my strengths? What are my passions? So I love video and stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm really good at YouTube. I evaluated the marketplace, all of the things, it's not being done. So then I went to the guru. I chose him. He didn't advertise and market to me. I went to him and said, okay, here's my money. Teach me that, because here's what I know I need and want. We don't do it that way. We let someone else tell us it's the Instagram, and then we go do Instagram, but we suck at Instagram. We don't want to
Yeah.
do Instagram. We hate social media. I see it all the time. So yes, tactics and marketing is important, but we put that cart ahead of ourselves. And that's where we get into trouble, is we're not
Yes.
listening to ourselves.
Yes, and I think there's something, when we, let's say, connect with, and the coaches or the programs are probably magnificent, but sometimes we're just connecting and paying for them because we want what that person has, and we feel like their success, all of a sudden we're in their company, so we're a little more in that success, but we haven't actually really done it. It's like a little bit of a fake success, and we just,
I
yeah.
got something to say. So we buy the program without the commitment of following through on the program that we actually bought to get the results. So we are right back at commitment. We're right back at the front. So we got the dopamine hit. A lot of times, a lot of people,
Dopamine, that's it.
they're
That's it.
like, oh, I just did something for my business. We sell software to people and we see it all day long because we can see in the back of people's accounts. The amount of people that pay for it every month and never log in is astonishing.
Yes.
But it makes them feel like they are successful. They're doing something in their business. And I have to talk my business owners through that because they feel like they're taking money from people and it's not, you can't make that decision for them what they should or shouldn't do. This is why they're doing it. Just understand that. And let's just keep moving forward. And maybe you can engage them and be here when they're ready. But a lot of people, when you're selling programs, you'll make you sick to your stomach if you look and nobody's logged in, but that's part of this process. And understand that in others so you can see it in yourself. And that is that level of commitment to follow through on the thing that we said we were going to do. So I'm a pure advocate for don't buy it.
Yeah.
Tell me about your commitment first. Tell me about, you got to get on a call with me if you want to work with me. And I'm going to evaluate whether or not we're going to go because I'm going to be committed. And if you fail out and run away in 45 days,
Yes, 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 yes. It's so true. That dopamine hit when someone purchases something, but they don't have that commitment, and it either makes them feel still connected, like there's that possibility, I'll get to it. Okay, it's still there, I'll get to it. Or it becomes the opposite, and then they feel even worse about themselves because now they have more products they decide they wasted their money on, they feel bad about themselves, and it just exasperates the situation. So it is very important, this whole mindset, the commitment, what your big goal is. Don't act so fast. Really think about, the things. And we're all guilty of it. It's part of the process. It's part of the education.
I
So
wish it wasn't. And the way that it won't be is if we understand that mindset has to come first, but we
yes.
won't pay for mindset. We'll pay for Instagram, but we don't understand that when we don't log in, it's all mindset. Nobody's
Mhm.
talking about the level of commitment it takes to build a business. No one's talking about how hard it is. We don't want to click on that. I was
No.
talking to the YouTube guy the other day, and I'm like, I don't want to create videos that say you can make $1 million in 3 months because you can't. He's like, well, that's what people will click on. I go, well, then we
Yeah.
got to find another way.
Yeah. I
Because it
agree with you.
won't like, so it's like, okay, 95% of coaches don't do this. Okay, yeah, well, that's the truth,
Yeah.
right? So it's those things, but that's what people will click on. And it's just marketers wanting to sell, which fair enough, right? But if we could really understand the level of work that this took, I think a lot of us would have stayed at our jobs.
There's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. And I think it is so important to start this, you know, I see it now in a lot of coaches, not many, like you said, everyone's doing the shining object, quick fix, fast cash, the whole 9 yards. But there's an ethical thing there where you have to share, the reality of it. And this, I believe, will become a new trend because people will get so fed up with that old style, the way it's been, that they want to hear the real story, the real, what is it going to really take to make this work? What are the real numbers? Share the truth. And this is a beautiful way that we can still build those amazing, successful businesses, but in the right manner. And I love that. And it's important. We all need to start doing that. All of us, like anyone that is listening, just talk to your people as they are your best friend, someone you care about, your grandma, tell them the real deal. And you're not going to lose, you'll gain so much more just by being authentic and honest. And it'll make you relatable
Mhm.
because that that that's going to happen. There's a journey to success. And if someone says it's so super easy,
Run
they're not,
together.
they're going to think there's something wrong with them, or I'm not made for this. No, that's not the truth. The truth is it's not easy. It's
Yeah.
a journey, and you're going to have so many ups and downs. It's just part of it. And you have to think about your mindset and your commitment to it and how much you really want it, and all of the things. And I love that this is such a great, great conversation. It's so important because it's everything. It's just so foundational. It's such a foundational piece, the most important. So
Yes.
I'm just going to ask you two more questions. One is, because it is important, if we have a business, we do have to market it, because if we don't market it, we don't make sales. And if we don't make sales, we don't have a business. So it's part
Right.
of the process. So when you first started out, with your business, what was the first way that you went about marketing, and what would you recommend for others that are maybe brand new? What can they do to get their business started?
When I was brand new, I didn't understand business because of what was being taught it online about, build a funnel and you're one funnel away and all of that crap.
Mhm.
And it's imperative that we don't buy into that if we're brand new, because we don't have any experience talking to or working with a certain niche or avatar so that we can understand the problems we're solving. If we can't solve a problem for someone, if we don't know what the problem is, then online, how do you go talk to people? So what I learned was, finally, after, I don't know, 3 years of just absolute no money, was somebody said, well, why don't you go into a group and start talking to people? And I'm like, what? Talk to people? So that was the first thing I needed to overcome, was to start to talk to people and just get in front of people. I did it again in December of last year. I did all the market research again. I went and talked to 15 people who were my ideal client and just said, talk to me, tell me what's going on for you out there. Let me see if I can help you. I've got some ideas. I want to know how I can help women like you. It wasn't a pitch. It wasn't any of that gross stuff. But I learned that that was where they were struggling with the legal side of what was going on in high level. And I had the answers, but I didn't know they needed that. I thought they needed the,
Yeah,
like, you don't know what you're going to sell and what the problem is. So that's my number one request of anyone I work with, is go and interview 10 of your ideal client if they, before they ever give me a dime. And if they don't do it, we don't continue.
love this. Love it.
Because if you cannot talk to 10 people, you're not a business person. Don't put yourself through this. Just go get a job and just settle down and just get your bonbons and just, I'm serious. Don't do this to yourself. But then remember what courage, it doesn't feel good. Remember the thoughts are going to come up when it happens. And then you go and, like I did, and get on conversations. And I got 3 clients out of it. And this one wanted to partner with me on this and this. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not taking clients. No, no, no. And they come back, and a month later, and hire me for February 1st. I'm like, interesting. I just went and talked to people again, genuinely wanting to help people again. And then that's where the confusion will kick in. I don't know where to go. I don't know. That happened for me. And I'm like, Pamela, if you did know, what would you do? And it was a matter of taking some action. And then it slowly, I don't know, it just worked. And I
Yes.
went back to my coach and I said, you needed to fire me if I didn't have this done. And she's like, and I'm like, I'm serious. If I was only going to come with excuses and I hear them, I've said them, I said, do not work with me.
Yeah.
Because that is like me and her being best friends. Don't take money and put me through the emotional trauma of telling myself I'm here to build a business when I'm really only here to be comfortable.
Yes. Mhm.
So
Yes.
you can make $1 million this year by talking to people. That's it. Just go talk to people all day long. I don't know where. Well, if you did know,
I love this. If you did know, if
what
you
would you
did
do?
know. Yeah. Fantastic. I love this. Whenever you come up against yourself saying, I can't, I don't know how, just say, if I could, if I did know how, start questioning yourself and
Yeah,
find the answers. That is so empowering to do that. We are so much more than we give ourselves credit for.
so much
We just
more.
are not always asking ourselves the right question or setting ourselves up for the right mindset to go forward. There's nothing that we cannot do. We just need to get out of our own way. And the way we get out of our own way is to figure out who we are, what we're thinking, and if that thinking is good or bad. And if it isn't good, fix it and set yourself up for your own success. And
Yeah,
don't, like you said, don't worry about what everyone else is doing or what their opinions are or what they're thinking. It's all about you. It's all on you. It's your responsibility. It's your thoughts. It's your life. It's
yes.
all yours.
Amen.
And yeah, love
Yeah.
it. Okay, my very last question. How do you define success and what does that look like in the day in your life?
Success for me is, somebody said this to me, my coach, really early on in the coaching last year about success. And I was like, how do you define success? And I was like, I already feel successful. And it was really around where I came from and what I've already overcome with regards to trauma and the home life that I came from, a small farming community in Saskatchewan, Canada, where I had to flee. And I felt like because I wasn't on the streets or had an addiction problem other than potato chips, which are just deadly, I felt I was already successful. And then I had to redefine that for myself. And that is next, am I the person fully who I really am? Like, am I looking at her every day? And I can't say that that's the truth every day, but that's what gets me moving every day is who is she? What does she really want? What does she really desire from me? Like, am I my own best friend? Is my future self going to thank me for what I'm doing today? Right? Can I thank my past self for what I've done yesterday? Can I be my own companion today? So for me, it's when that relationship is tight and doing well, I feel successful.
I love it. When you're saying that, it just made me think of our all of our own inner little girls.
Yes.
And why not have a beautiful in love relationship with yourself? Be in love with yourself. Get to know yourself. Give yourself the best um experiences that
Yeah.
you possibly can. Get to be all that you can and know who you are. What a gift. We spend so much time, and that's great too that we spend so much time getting to know others and fostering those relationships and those connections. And it's all good, but let's put a little bit of spotlight on ourselves and really
Yeah.
get to know the amazing humans that we are, instead of just
Yeah.
being all about actions and forward movements. Let's stop and let's think and let's cherish ourselves. Let's thank ourselves. Let's talk to ourselves and nurture and care and go forward with all of the soft love that you would give to any little 5-year-old girl. Let's treat ourselves well. And yeah, I'm really touched by this interview. I mean,
Thank you.
this is this is about our most beautiful, authentic selves getting a chance to shine in the world and be a blessing ourselves and to others. And
And make a
thank you
lot of
so
money
much. And make a lot of money because the more money we can make, the more we can bless, right? We can bless ourselves,
ourselves.
we can bless others. If we want to help others, best way to do that is to make enough money so you have the resources to put it into action. So
The
yes,
best, the best way is to be an example.
yes, exactly.
Not to give it all away, but to be an example of what's possible, because by doing that, the next woman can go, oh, so you can make that amount of money. Oh, maybe I can tell myself the truth that I want that too, and that it's
Absolutely.
possible. So
I
that's
love it.
that's the reason.
I love it. Okay, before we sign off, can you share your main website link one more time so that everyone can go ahead and find out more about your amazing work and what you're doing in the world?
Your GHL gal.
Love it. Your GHL gal. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here.
Well,
It's
thank you for
been
having me.
beautiful.
What a
Oh, my
beautiful
pleasure.
conversation. And to everyone listening, my goal for you is for you to simply give yourself permission to be yourself. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to be like Tamara. You don't have to be like anyone you know. Just you have permission to be yourself.
Love it. Absolutely. Okay, well, wealthy women, is this a powerful interview? This is, keep coming back to this one. Keep re-listening and get yourself correct with your thinking because there's so much that you can do in this world and you deserve everything. You deserve happiness, you deserve abundance, you deserve love, and you can create this entirely beautiful world for yourself. Just start thinking about it and put those good thoughts out there. So until next time, I wish you a wonderful week and go for your dreams and talk to you soon. Bye for now.